Hi, my name is David Rippy. I am a certified hypnotherapist. This is the chapter, Many Lives, Same Soul, in my book, Meeting Jesus. Enjoy.
Many lives, same soul. This client is turning 34 and wanted to do a past life regression. She has a strong curiosity about the other side and was intrigued by what she may discover when she is in a superconscious state. She practices the shamanic arts and Reiki. She works as an occupational therapy practitioner with animals and children with special needs. She mentioned that she had sciatic nerve pain in her leg and her jaw hurt. The hypnotic induction to relieve her pain and to place her in a superconscious state was emitted. In this session, she uncovered quite a few interesting lives and met some amazing beings on the other side. David, you're going to drift along, allowing angelic hands to guide and take you on a journey. I want you to relax as I count from 5 to 4. You're feeling yourself becoming more and more relaxed as you're drifting down deeper and deeper. You are allowing yourself to have total faith and trust in where you're being guided. As I count down from 4 to 3, you feel your body becoming more energized. As I count down from 3 to 2, you are drifting down deeper and deeper. As I count down from 2 to 1, you feel yourself being guided along, so relaxed and feeling so good inside. The angels are helping, guiding you down. You're landing a golden pod that you have been floating in, to a place you have been before. It could be Earth, or it could be somewhere else, but it's a place that means something to you. The pod is now only a foot off the ground, and the doors are going to open. You can feel your golden suit on as you step outside. You're feeling so comfortable and confident. As you're standing there, open your eyes, look around you and take it all in. Describe to me what you see. Subject: I see light-colored rocks, soil and grass, and it's bright out. I'm near a rocky cliff. It feels warm and there's grass and gravel. I feel buoyant and cheerful. David, does it feel like you are in the desert? Subject: No. It's near water. It's not like Arizona. David, is it near a big body of water? Can you see across it? Subject: I feel like it's a big lake or a river, but it's big. Whatever the body of water, it feels big. I don't feel like I can see that far. It's foggy in the distance. David, as you're standing there, how close to the bank are you? Subject: 15 feet or something. We're on a gravel path. David, it's sunny out, you said? Subject: Yes. David, gaze out at the water, look around and enjoy yourself. Subject: When I look at you, you are in a purple suit, by the way, laugh. David, am I? Subject: Yes, small laugh. Your hair looks good and you are walking. David, that's interesting. Do I have purple shoes on too? Subject: I didn't really look, but I want to say they're gold. David, that's fancy. Subject: Yes, but I'm not dressed like that. David, so I look overdressed for the situation. Subject: Yes, you're real jazzy. I'm a female, I'm in a suit, but it's not like a suit a man would wear. David, that's interesting. As you're standing there looking around on the edge of the cliff, if you could go somewhere from there, where would you go? Is there any place nearby that you're familiar with? Subject: It feels like there's a town nearby, not a big town, but it's like a hilly countryside town with water and rocks. David, let's stand at the outskirts of town and I want you to tell me what you see. Subject: Pause. David, do you see buildings? What are they made of? Subject: Hold on, let's see. David, take your time. Subject: It's interesting because I was seeing the countryside, but now I feel like there's something over my eyes and I can't see. It's the shape of a butterfly, and I don't know why I can't see past it. David, something like a butterfly is blocking your vision? Subject: Yes, laugh. David, as you stand there, I am going to stand about 20 feet from you. I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and you're going to feel this butterfly come away from you and toward me. I'm going to stick my arm out, and it's going to land on my arm. 3, 2, 1. Subject: It was a bird. It wasn't a butterfly. It was big. David, it was a bird and I'm going to call it over to me. 3, 2, 1. You can see his wings flapping as he's coming toward my outstretched arm. It's going to land on my arm, and it's going to be under control. I want you to describe the bird to me. What does it look like? Subject: it has light and dark brown feathers. I want to say like a quail, but I don't know what a quail looks like. It could be a pheasant. It feels like that. David: does it look like he's okay on my arm? Subject: oh yes. David: as you look around, you see the bird on my arm, and now you can see clearly because it's not blocking your vision anymore. Subject: right. So it's David: I want you to take me closer to the village. Tell me what you see now that the bird is not blocking your vision. Subject: first of all, everything feels very white and blue, and it feels like columns. David: describe in more detail. Subject: I want to say that I'm seeing a type of Greek architecture or something like that. You know, columns and those kinds of buildings that are very white. It feels white and blue, and it's sunny out, and I just see columns. David: let's walk up to one of these magnificent buildings you're describing. I'll follow along, and I'll let the bird fly off my arm. He's happy as he flies away, and he's glad that he met us. As he takes off, I'm going to brush off my arm and follow you up to the steps. Let's get closer to the steps of these column-like buildings, and let's walk inside one. I want you to stand at one end and look down the length of the building. Look up at the ceiling, check out the floor and the columns. Describe what you see. Subject: it's big. We are walking up a lot of steps, and it's very long. It's a big building. Like the Parthenon, it's a big column building. Very tall, everything looks very big. Author's note: the Parthenon is a former temple on the Athenian Acropolis, Greece, dedicated to the goddess Athena, whom the people of Athens considered their patron. Construction began in 447 BC, when the Athenian Empire was at the peak of its power. David: is it ornate inside? What type of ceiling? If you look at the columns, what do they look like? Do they have a Doric, Ionic, or Corinthian shape? What type of columns are they? Subject: I don't know the difference, but there are some spirally things at the top where they meet the ceiling. Like ram's ears, you know? Author's note: the Parthenon has both Ionic and Doric style columns. The client is describing the Ionic style, which have a scroll-like shape at the top. David: as you look around, is there anything else you see inside the building? Subject: pause. I feel like there are people, but they're not close to me. I see people in the distance. David: why are you here? What draws you to this building? Subject: long pause. It's like a place of business. I don't think I work there, but some type of operation is going on here. David: let's walk to the edge of where the long steps are. Is this a building where they make decisions for that area? Does it feel like important decisions are made here? Subject: it doesn't feel like a government exactly, but it's important. Whatever this place is, it's important, and it feels spacious, not just this building, but the whole town. It doesn't feel like a crowded city. There are these big column buildings, but there's space between them. There's grass between the buildings, it's more open. It doesn't feel like a super congested city or anything. David: what are you wearing? Subject: I'm wearing lightish blue over my head. My hair is covered with a long blue cloth. David: does it look like you have a certain role here, or why are you wearing this outfit? It is a standard outfit for this place? Subject: I think it's a standard outfit for women. David: how do the men dress? Subject: well, you're not wearing what everyone else is wearing. There's a man in the distance, and he's wearing a goldish olive shirt-like dress thing. It's longer. David: nice. If you had to pick a place in your mind, would this be on Earth at some time in the past? Subject: it does feel like it's Earth, but it's not in the United States. David: as you look around, what kind of feel do you get? Subject: it's Greek or Roman, something like that. It feels like that type of architecture. And it feels, long pause, classy. It just feels classy, small laugh. David: does it feel like the Renaissance, or during another period of enlightenment? Subject: I don't want to say Renaissance. Or do you mean Renaissance as in a time when important things are happening? David: yes, an awareness. Like Plato, a time of enlightenment. Subject, it feels like there's smart stuff going on. It feels light and smart. David, interesting. If you had to pick a time frame, what does it feel like? How far back? If you had to pick a century, would it be before or after Christ? Subject, after. David, you feel it was after Christ. A couple 100 years after? 500 years after? What are your thoughts? Subject, I think 500 years sounds about right. David, 500 years after his death? Subject, perhaps. David, think about that. If another time period or year pops into your mind later, let me know. Now, why are you here? Did you have a life in this time? Does it feel more like Greece or Rome, if you had to pick one? Subject, Rome. David, so it feels more like Rome, and it feels very powerful. Do you see any soldiers around? Subject, no, I don't see many people around. It feels I don't know where everyone is, but it feels very barren. David, is this a place of learning? A place somewhere that is away from the general population? Subject, yes. It feels like this is a university or someplace like that. David, like a learning retreat somewhere? Subject, yes. It's not government. Something important is happening in this place, but it's not government. It does feel like there's knowledge happening. David, that sounds interesting. You feel like you've had a life there? Subject, yes. David, in that life did you believe in one God or in many gods? Subject, it seems like one God but more like, universal energy as opposed to one guy sitting up there. Like oneness. David, so it's like oneness that everything is connected. Subject, yes. David, you felt like there was more evolved deities that were part of this web that were intermingled with everyone else? Subject, are you asking if there were angels with us? David, yes, and perhaps ascended masters or highly evolved beings that are part of this homogeneous mix. Are there individual personalities there as well? Subject, yes. David, are you part of any particular order, and that's why you wear the light blue sash on your head? Subject, oh yes, it was something like that. I'm not married. David, is there an order that you belong to? Subject, I want to say it feels like Mary energy. David, you feel like you were in an order that recognized Mother Mary back then? Subject, yes. It feels more like that than Athena. David, Mother Mary was a revered figure in Rome at this time. Subject, yes. It doesn't feel like organized or structured religion. It feels more loving than structured. David, so it was more of her energy and persona. More like Jesus, a loving, caring energy. Subject, it was open-hearted and sweet. David, right. So instead of rules, it was knowing that this was the heart of hearts, right? Subject, yes. David, how old are you? Subject, I'm around 25. David, let's go to a time where you see yourself in a congregation with the women of this order. Take us there and describe what you see. Subject, oh, said with surprise, it looks like we're creating art like a large mosaic. It's beautiful. It looks like a big heart on a big wall. David, how many of you are working on this mosaic? Subject, I'd say about 4 or 5 of us. There are females and males, and we're all interconnected with similar beliefs. Seems like there are a lot of candles. David, nice, so you had candles around. Did you have prayer sessions as well and meditation? Subject, something about this feels very strong and meaningful. It's as if we're infusing our prayers into each piece of the mosaic. It's beautiful. David, you're putting a lot of effort and heart energy into it? Subject, yes, I feel as though I want to cry. A happy cry. My whole body is feeling it. It's really sweet and beautiful, what sounds like soft crying. David, I'm glad you're enjoying the scene. Remembering all those that felt that same love and compassion as you and others who worked on the mosaic. Now, let's go forward from the age of 25 to age 45. Do you see yourself then? Subject, yes. David, describe what you look like. Subject, I look a little older, a little more wrinkled but not too much older. David, so you can tell that you aged. Subject, I have some crow's feet. David, are you doing anything new at this time? Subject, the mosaic thing is still part of my life. It's a huge creation. The bottom of it is a heart. It's completed. It's on a huge wall in a big building. I still live in the same area. David, people get the chance to enjoy it a lot then? Subject, yes, it's definitely a place of prayer or important energy. There is something strong and powerful about this place. I think that is why we created this here. I think I'm in charge of it or guarding it. There is a reason that I am still here. David, you're keeping a watchful eye on it. You're making sure that it stays in good shape and no one vandalizes it or anything. Subject, I want to say that I'm the den mother of this place. I'm the mother of the space. I'm keeping watch. David, you never wanted to leave it. Subject, softly, yes. David, as you go forward from 45, do you see yourself at 65? Subject, yes. David, you're still alive at 65. A few more wrinkles, perhaps. Subject, yes. David, how is the mosaic? Did you have to do any maintenance over the last 40 years? Subject, it's still there, but the building feels more like a cathedral now. There's more glass now. David, so you think they changed the building? Subject, yes. David, did they make it bigger? As though they added to it? Subject, yes. David, you're 65 years old. The mosaic is still there. The building looks like it was expanded. Do you see yourself at 75? Subject, no. David, you passed in your early 70s? Subject, yes. David, let's go to that time. You're not getting emotionally involved. Let's go to the last time that you remembered having the strength or energy to see the beautiful mosaic that you spent most of your life with. I want you to admire it. You're looking at it with older eyes now. Perhaps you reach out and touch it. Do you still feel the same energy that you did when you were young? Does it still move you the same way that it did when you were 25? Subject, I'm not seeing the mosaic anymore. I'm seeing the stained glass. I see how I died. David, let's go right to your death. You were in your early 70s. Do you have a date when it happened? Subject, I think I was 72. David, now let's think about the month that you passed. Do you see that? Subject, March. David, you died in March. Any particular date? Subject, I want to say the 19th. David, you have a feeling you might have died March 19th at 72. Now if you had to put a year on it, what would it be? Subject, David, what numbers come up? What does it feel like? What century would that have been? Subject, I feel an 8, but I'm not sure. I know that date, but I don't think I know the year. David, do you see the month you were born? Subject, March. David, you were born in March also. Subject, yes. March felt right. David, what day were you born? Subject, the 9th. David, so you think you were born on March 9th, and what day did you die again? Subject, the 19th. What I saw was that I was running, and there was water on the ground near the stained glass. I tripped and smashed my head open. David, you were running, and you slipped on water. Why were you running so fast? Was there a reason? You were 72. Subject, I think I was nervous about something. Water was coming up and it shouldn't have been. I wanted to try to save things. I was hurrying for a reason. David, you slipped and hit your head on the stained glass? Subject, no, I slipped and fell backward. I hit my head when I fell to the ground. David, that must have been terrible. You are not getting emotional, you are only observing. Did you see yourself come out of your body? Subject, yes, I see blood pooling out of my head, seeping around my body and intermingling with the water. David, you see blood coming out of your head. Are you moving around, or have you already passed? Subject, it was like bang gone. David, so no movement after you fell. How are you viewing this? Are you staring at your body from the outside? Subject, yeah, it's like I'm staring at my body from a distance. I see the energy leave. It's shooting up like a slow mist. David, you see the mist coming out of you. Do you see me standing there watching the scene too? Subject, you're standing next to me watching from afar. David, am I still wearing my fancy purple suit? Subject, yes, I think it's velvet. David, slight laugh, so velvet cool. How long did it take for them to discover your body lying there? Subject, water was coming up. I don't know if anyone is around. It felt like a flood and no one was around. David, so you were there by yourself, alone. Subject, there were other people, but they weren't nearby. David, were you hidden by pews or in the middle of the floor? Subject, I'm in the middle of the floor. Water is coming up. It's all around me. It's not like the water had totally covered me up. David, as you're watching this, the water is coming up and your soul has exited your body. Where did you go from there? What do you remember? As I count down from 3, 2, 1, your memories are becoming even clearer. 3, 2, 1. What do you see? Subject, I went up and I'm in space. I'm seeing stars and shooting stars. David, you went right up through the roof of the building that you're in. Straight up to the stars. Then suddenly, you're in open space, floating higher and higher? Subject, yes. David, are you out there for a while? Did you know that you died? Subject, yes, I knew. I feel a little sad, but I'm smiling at the same time, like it's all okay. David, did anyone come and join you in space or were you alone? Subject, this part I'm alone. David, did you feel like you didn't need anyone around you? Were you exploring since you hadn't been able to do that in a while? Subject, I was just exploring. It had been a while. I was charging my energy back up. David, drift around in space for a while. Enjoy the stars, nebulas, and space that is all around you. Do you feel a sense of immortality? Subject, I feel beautiful expansiveness. David, you knew you had died and then you knew you were a consciousness, a soul, is that right? Subject, aha, yes. David, can you see yourself? What do you look like? Subject, I'm just in the stars. I'm not even a form. David, you're like a stealthy form drifting through space and you can't be seen. Subject, I also feel like it wasn't a big shock. I knew what it would feel like on the other side. David, so you knew ahead of time what took place at death. You knew this wasn't your first time you left your body and drifted off into space. Subject, right, that life, I felt like I knew how it would be after I passed. I wasn't worried. David, you were fairly evolved at this stage. Subject, yes. David, I want you to take me to where you go next once you leave space. I want you to open your third eye even wider and tell me where you are. Subject, I'm sitting in a chair. It feels like a fancy chair. It's red and gold, very ornate. Something you would see in high royalty. It's a room with chairs like that. David, how many chairs are in the room? Subject, all along the wall there are a bunch of chairs like mine. Then there are more normal chairs on the other side. The people in the fancy chairs are in charge of something or talking about something. It's like I'm on a stage. David, as you're sitting on stage and looking out at the audience, are there other beings or souls in the other chairs? Subject, I can't see them, but yes, I do feel like there are energies there. David, you feel like there is a presence there and different energies? Subject, yes. David, as you look on stage, how many chairs are there? Subject, I think there are 7. David, 7 chairs. As you're facing the stage, which chair are you in? Subject, I'm all the way on the left. David, you're on the far left. Who is sitting next to you and who are the other beings? Are all the chairs occupied? Subject, I can't see them all. I see animals too. David, is there a reason you came back here after leaving that life? Is this a council? Subject, I'm sitting up there. I'm trying to sort out what it is. It feels like a council or meeting with important beings. David, you think you're on this council. Perhaps you've been going to this council subconsciously for a long time, but you were not aware of that in the life you just lived? Subject, enthusiastically, yes. David, think in your mind, what does this council represent? What do they do? What is their function? Subject, it's about compassion. David, a council on compassion. You said there were animals, what kind? Subject, there's a bear. David, a bear. That's a powerful totem. Is there an equal mix of females and males on this council? Subject, there is male energy, but it's loving, very sweet. David, are they wearing any particular outfits? Colors? Subject, the chairs are bright red with gold on the top of them, with surprise, oh, you're in one of the chairs. David, oh wow. Where do I sit on this council? Subject, you're the third from the right, on the other side. David, great. What type of decisions do we make? You said compassion, tell me more about that. Subject, let me see, it seems to be about different ways to spread heart energy and compassion throughout the world. Ways to infiltrate and send good energy out. David, so important stuff, discussing ways to wake the planet and have more compassion toward others. Subject, exactly, yes. It's very nice. David, the other souls not on the stage, are they participating? Subject, they are formless, it's as if they are energy bubbles. Some are more developed. It's like they are listening for instruction on how to spread compassion. David, interesting. As we leave the council meeting, where do we go from there? Subject, I see a beautiful rainbow doorway, almost like a portal. It's all the essence of the colors of the rainbow, and I'm floating, waiting to go through the doorway. David, do you see us going through the doorway to somewhere else? Let's go through. What do you see next? Subject, we walk through the door, it's like I'm helping to build a huge Buddha statue. David, what does it look like? Is it a big Buddha head sculpture that you're working on? Subject, yes. It's gigantic. The nose is bigger than me. It's a big sculpture. David, is it going to be the whole body or just the head? Is it carved out of a mountain? Subject, yes, it feels like Fiji or something. It feels darker, cloudy, cooler, and it's on the side of a mountain. It's big, big, big. David, are they carving it on the side of a mountain? Subject, yes, or if it's not carved out of a mountain, it could be right next to the mountain. David, wow. Is this something you're in charge of or helping with? What's your role? Subject, I am helping to oversee the building of it. David, how far along is it? Subject, the body is not very well defined at this point. Only the head is really defined. David, are they going to refine the body next? Subject, yes, but the head is the most important part. David, when you think about it, where is this life? Subject, it feels Asian or South Asian. David, why would you be carving this? Were you part of this culture? Subject, oh, I think I'm a monk. I'm wearing orange. David, do you feel that you came from Tibet or somewhere else? Subject, I don't know exactly where I am, but I know that I live with a bunch of monks. David, male or female? Subject, male. David, how old are you? Subject, 40s or 50s. David, can you describe what you look like? Subject, I'm smiling. I'm Asian. I'm bald. I feel as though I have a little white beard. I have a very round head. I do not think that I'm super tall. I feel very peaceful and happy. David, is that from years of meditation? Subject, yes, my whole life was meditation. I think in my childhood, I was sent to be a monk at a very young age. I do not think my childhood was great, but once I was a part of this community, it was great. David, could you speak different dialects of Chinese? Mandarin? Subject, I don't feel like I was Chinese or Japanese. Perhaps Burmese. I don't know. Author's note, Burma, officially the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, is the largest country in mainland Southeast Asia. It's located at the northeast edge of Southeast Asia and borders Thailand, Laos, China, Tibet, India, and Bangladesh. David, where do you live? Describe it to me. Subject, I'm halfway up this giant mountain. Darker rocks. The air feels cool, crisp, cloudy. There is green. It is dark green and mountainous. David, are you high up? Subject, yes, but not all the way up the mountain. The heart of the mountain. David, were there steps carved up the side of the mountain? Do you live in a cave? Subject, yes, something like that. David, did other monks live on the mountain? Subject, yes, there were a bunch of us. David, what did you eat? What did you subsist on? Subject, I'm seeing bland rice and vegetables. We did not eat very much. Lots of soups too. David, in that life, did you know any martial arts, Tai Chi, acupuncture, or Eastern medicine? Subject, I could levitate when I meditated. I helped to collect and make things with herbs that would help people. David, can you visually see yourself levitating? Subject, yes. As soon as you asked about martial arts, I saw myself sitting cross-legged a foot off the ground. David, could you astral project in that life? Subject, oh yes. David, so you felt like you could travel out of your body to other places. Can you visualize any of the places you might have traveled? Did you go off planet, or was it mostly on Earth? Subject, possibly, but it feels more like on this planet. I would visit other monks in their dream time and give information, but I also feel as though I would travel to places that had high energy. David, very interesting. Do you see yourself at 40 or 50? Subject, yes. David, when is this time period? Subject, I do not know numbers. I see symbols. I can't read it. David, okay. What was your name, do you remember? Subject, something with an L? L-A, Lau. David, Lau. What was your last name? Subject, I can't see the last name. David, were you pretty high up in your group of monks? Subject, yes. I wasn't the highest, but I was pretty well respected. David, do you see yourself at 70? Subject, I do not think so. I see some sort of cocoon. I was wrapped up in a cocoon. I don't know what that was. David, let's go to your death. Do you see what you died from? Subject, I'm in a contraption. Perhaps I suffocated. David, did you pass away when you were in the contraption? After you were wrapped up in a cocoon, were you sealed inside a wall? Author's note, Sokushinsu are a kind of Buddhist mummy. The term refers to the practice of Buddhist monks observing asceticism to the point of death and entering mummification while alive. They are seen in a number of Buddhist countries, but the Japanese term Sokushinsu is generally used. Subject, I was not inside of a wall. I was sick and they put me in some sort of cocoon thing. David, were you wrapped up? Subject, I was wrapped up, and it felt like I was in an egg-type thing. David, as you look at the wrapped-up egg you're in, are you outside looking at yourself now that you are deceased? Subject, it's like a chrysalis. David, was there a death ceremony? Subject, it was a basket, and then I think they burned the basket. I think they burned me. I had passed away at this point and they burned me. David, you were wrapped up in this basket. Did they put you on a big fire? Subject, yes. It seemed as though burning was a way of respect. David, so as a soul, you're watching this ceremony take place. Subject, yes. David, were a lot of people weeping, or was it accepted that this was a transition to another dimension, where you return after death? Subject, there was silent, somber praying. David, they all prayed for you. Subject, yes. David, how long did you stay there before you transitioned somewhere else? What was next? Where did you go? Subject, I watched the ceremony and my soul suddenly teleported and switched to somewhere else. David, did you go to space for a while or through a portal? What happened next? Subject, I'm somewhere with water. David, is this water on the other side or somewhere you explored before you transitioned to another dimension? Subject, this is water that is not on Earth. David, tell me about this body of water. How big is it? Is there an end to it, or does it go on forever? Subject, It is an amorphous lake. It is a weirdly shaped lake. David, what color is the water? Subject, it is mostly dark, but it has shimmers of pink and purples as well. David, why would you go to this lake? Was this a place you like to go on the other side? Subject, yes. This is somewhere I would go in dream time. I would talk into the water and images would come from the water. David, isn't that neat? So, you would ask the water questions, and all of a sudden the water would give answers like a mirror. Pretty cool. Subject, it was definitely like a mirror. David, why don't you ask the water a question? Ask what's next and tell me what it looks like. Any particular messages? Subject, previously in my dream time, it would always be spiritual questions and ways to help the people I was with. The water would ripple, and the ripples would make shapes. I would read the ripples of the water. I would read the vibrations. David, oh, that's neat. Could you heal with your hands or do qigong? Subject, I think that my energy or aura helped people around me, and I would help their vibration. I also knew a lot about herbs. I had ways of working with the elements. David, very nice. That sounds interesting. Now as you're staring at the water, tell me what's next. What is after the lake? Subject, after passing on from my monk life, my soul dove into the lake. David, did you become part of the lake or just dive into it? Subject, it was as if the lake was another portal. David, okay, it was another portal. What was on the other side of the portal? Subject, I'm still going. David, swim along and tell me what you see next. Subject, everything around me has a purple and pink glow. I'm under the water still. David, it feels pretty good in the water? It's not too cold? Subject, yes. It feels great. It feels familiar. There are dolphins and whales around me. David, as a soul, do you have the ability to turn your energy into a dolphin or a whale? Subject, definitely. I can connect with the water. David, describe what you look like. Subject, I have a whale-like shape. David, you came back to a place you remember on another dimension, and you consciously morphed into a whale? Subject, this experience feels like it's rebooting my energy again. David, interesting. Subject, yes, I'm not permanently a whale. I took this form to recharge my energy. I get a lot of peace and tranquility from the water. David, you go into that shape to recharge your energy and have some companionship underwater. Subject, yes. To relax. David, what color are you? How big are you? Subject, I seem to be about 20 feet. David, any particular color? Subject, I'm a grayish blue, but everything around me is purple and pink. Wow, this imagery feels just like an old Lisa Frank sticker. It is very colorful and beautiful. Author's note, Lisa Frank is known for producing whimsical commercial design for school supplies and other products that are primarily marketed to children. Her corporation's artwork features rainbows, neon colors, and stylized depictions of animals, including dolphins, pandas, and unicorns. David, wow, it feels so nice to be there, doesn't it? Subject, yes. David, as you're enjoying your time to re-energize, do you see other souls having the same kind of experience in the water? Subject, yes. We're all replenishing ourselves in this water. David, as a dolphin or a whale? Subject, you can change your body. You can be whatever you want. It's fluid. You can be whatever you feel like being. David, that's nice. How long did you do that? Subject, a couple of hours. I wanted to clear everything. David, that makes sense. Jump in the water, absorb the energy from it, and float around in a peaceful, tranquil environment. Now, you are feeling recharged and refreshed. Where do you go next? I'm going to count down to 3 to 2 to 1. Bang, what's next? Subject, oh, I feel like I'm shooting through something. I'm going down a waterfall now. David, wow, is it huge? Subject, yes, it's huge. It feels like Earth. David, this is an Earth waterfall. Are you a soul jumping down this waterfall or a human? Subject, I'm a human. I am now in a new life. David, does it look a little risky? Subject, yes, but I've done it many times before. David, are you male or female? Subject, male. David, does it seem like a familiar place, and you know you won't hurt yourself? Subject, yes, this is my space. David, do other people dive off the waterfall? Subject, yes, other people that I know. David, how old are you? Subject, I'm in my early 20s. David, where is this? Is it in the United States? Subject, Africa. David, Africa. What color is your skin? Subject, darker. David, you're on this big waterfall. Why are you here? Subject, it's cleansing. It's something I do. David, how big is the waterfall? Subject, now that I've gotten out of the waterfall, it isn't as big as I initially thought. At first it felt as though I was a droplet of water, but as I became human, the waterfall wasn't nearly as big as I thought initially. I think it is about 30 feet tall. It has a big pool at the bottom. David, nice. What is nearby? Do you live with your parents? Subject, my parents have passed. David, they've passed. So, where do you live? Subject, at the foot of a mountain. David, you live at the foot of the mountain. Do you live by yourself or with a spouse? Subject, I'm married. I have a wife. David, so now you're leaving the waterfall and going home. I want you to describe what your house looks like. Subject, it's a small hut kind of thing. David, how far from the waterfall is your home? Subject, around half a mile. David, so it's not too far. Do you like your location? Is this a village with others nearby? Subject, yes. It's a small village. This isn't where I grew up. I had a loss and then I came here. David, how long ago did you meet your wife? Subject, a few years ago. David, is she older or younger? Subject, she's younger. David, say that you're 21. How old is she? Subject, I'm 24 and she is around 21. David, pretty close in age. Do you have any children? Subject, we have 2 and she seems to be pregnant. David, do you work in the village? How do you make a living? Subject, I'm building or making things. David, you're making things. What do you eat? Subject, we hunt and we grow a lot of vegetables. It feels very fertile. David, what do you wear? Subject, not a shirt. I wear pant-like clothing. It's not recent. David, how long ago was this? Subject, more than 100 years ago. David, does it feel like mid or late 1800s? Subject, yes. David, do settlers come through? Do traders come to your village? Subject, very, very rarely is there a white man. David, do white men come occasionally to trade? Subject, we are worried that they want the mountain. David, you're worried that they want the mountain because of minerals or something else? Subject, the mountain is sacred and important. It is special to us. David, why would white men want your mountain? Subject, there are minerals that I'm sure they would want. David, if you had to look at a map of Africa and you had to put a dot on your location, where is this mountain located? Subject, it's more northern. Northwest. It's located in the upper middle toward the west. David, was this near the coast or were you inland? Subject, I'm inland but not very far. I never went to the coast, but I do not think it was super far away. David, if you took a horse, do you think you could get to the ocean in a couple of days? Subject, yes. David, interesting. Did you have horses or would you walk? Subject, I would walk. David, do you see wagons in your village? Subject, not really. David, were there donkeys or elephants? What big animals were around? Did you have to be careful of any large animals that might attack the village? Subject, there were big cats. You needed to watch the big cats. Jaguar. David, would they kill people? Subject, yes, or any animals that you had to eat like livestock. David, interesting. How old did you live in that life? Subject, mid-40s. David, let's go to that time. Your kids are older, your wife is older. How did you pass away? Subject, I was shot with a lot of arrows against a tree. I also feel as though someone slit my neck at the same time. It was not a nice way to die. David, it doesn't sound like it. Why were you killed? Was it another village? What caused this? Subject, another village made a pact with a white man. They made a pact to take something that was sacred, and I stood up to them. I was killed. David, that doesn't sound very nice. Did you see yourself come out of your body when you were shot with all of those arrows? Subject, it was like an oozing. It wasn't as though my soul came out quickly. It was a slow release. David, you came out slowly. Why do you think that was? Subject, I was very sad. David, were you sad because you had to leave that life? Subject, yes, but I was also sad that the other village sold out and that I had to leave my family. David, you didn't want to leave that life. You were sad that it ended. Subject, you trust someone and then they do something to disrupt that. David, it's a shame that the other village sold out. Now as you oozed out slowly, describe what you felt and saw. Subject, my soul came out like smoke from a fire. It was oozing, but then it went up like smoke from a fire. I looked lifeless. I looked like a piece of meat, an animal. It was like something we would hunt, but it was a human. It was me. David, remember you are just observing. There is no reason to be emotional. You are just viewing a past life. Were you pinned against the tree by the arrows? Subject, I was pinned against the tree. David, did they tie you up and then shoot you? Subject, I was shot with so many arrows that they held my body up against the tree. David, you saw yourself being suspended by these arrows on a tree. How many were there? Subject, I didn't see the people. It happened so fast. David, so you died quickly. Subject, it seemed like boom. I was gone. David, as you're looking around as a soul, can you recognize any of the people who shot you? Subject, they were from another village. David, you knew they were from another village. What did they do? Did they leave after they killed you? Subject, they took my jewelry and any valuables that were on me. They just laughed and left me there. My wife and daughter came by, and they made a mandala of flowers around the foot of the tree where my body was. I am watching them take the arrows out. David, you see them taking the arrows out and lowering your body to the ground. Subject, yes. They are wailing. David, who else is helping your wife and daughter? Subject, a strong young man. He's either my son or a family friend. David, did they bury you afterward? What did they do with your body? Subject, they bathed me to cleanse me first, and then they put me in the water. David, did you float downstream? Subject, yes, I floated down a river. David, that's how you left. You floated down the river and ended up wherever you ended up. Was this common? Subject, they knew I loved the waterfall. The tree where I was killed, they would put offerings there. David, for years after you were gone? Subject, yes. David, wow. That's nice. As your body floats down the river as a soul, are you witnessing this? Subject, my soul stayed at the top of the waterfall and watched the body float off into the distance. I didn't follow it further. David, where did you go from there? What was your next step? Subject, I'm on the other side. David, describe that. What does it look like? Subject, I went to a spa-like location to help heal myself. David, a spa-like location to get your energy back? Subject, yes. Whatever was in those arrows poked holes in my energy field. David, you were perforated in spots and you wanted to heal those areas? Subject, yes. David, it was a place to go to repair damaged energy from a previous life. Subject, yes. David, how long were you there? Subject, it is hard to tell. Time does not flow the same way on the other side. The repairing didn't seem to take too long. There were lots of hallways and rooms. There were many other souls. David, you saw other souls. Were they being repaired as well? Subject, yes. David, it was a healing place to rest and recuperate. Take me to the end of that after you felt better. Where did you go from there? Subject, Jesus just took my hand and he's taking me somewhere. David, great. Let's go. Am I allowed to follow behind? Subject, of course. David, am I still wearing my outfit? Subject, you're now in a robe. David, I've ditched my purple velvet outfit and I'm now in a robe. I'm dressing down. What is Jesus wearing? Subject, he's wearing what you typically see him wearing in depictions. He's wearing a tannish white outfit. David, he's walking along and holding your hand. Is he talking to you at all? Subject, he has his arm around my shoulder. He's saying that it's good to see me, and he's glad that I'm feeling better. David, where are you going? Where is he taking you? Subject, we were walking on an outdoor path, but we've come to a large, expansive room. It doesn't have walls. It almost seems like a lounge for ascended masters or something. David, are you in chairs? Subject, I'm sitting down and looking around. Jesus is standing next to me. David, is he saying anything in particular? Why are you here? What does he want to talk about? Subject, we're here to connect with friends, masters, and teachers. David, does it appear as though you've known Jesus before? Subject, on the other side I've connected with Jesus. David, are there any other ascended masters or angels around that want to come up to us? Subject, definitely. Padre Pio just showed up. David, we have Padre Pio here, and what is he wearing? Author's note, Padre Pio, also known as Saint Pio of Pietrelcina, Italian, Pio de Pietrelcina, May 25, 1887, September 23, 1968, was an Italian friar, priest, hypnotist, and mystic, now venerated as a saint in the Catholic Church. Subject, a brown robe. David, he has a brown robe on. Does he look like he does from various depictions and pictures? Subject, yeah. David, what is he saying to you? Anything? Subject, he's patting my back and smiling. David, do Padre Pio and Jesus have anything else to say? Subject, they are just standing next to me and smiling. They are standing on either side of me. It's like there is no need to talk, it's just the energy of it. There is no need to use words. David, well, that's interesting. Who else might come up to us that knows you on the other side? Subject, Mary. David, is that Mother Mary? Subject, yes. David, describe her to us. What do you feel when she's around? Subject, just love. David, you feel her love around you. How does she look? Subject, a blue fabric scarf is draped on her head. She is wearing white as well. David, wonderful. How does she feel about you? Subject, I think we have known each other in a couple of other experiences. She's saying good to see you, dear daughter. David, so it's good to see her again. Subject, yeah. David, what is happening now? Are you still standing? Subject, yes. It's really a huge room. It's almost as if I'm at a country club filled with ascended masters and teachers. The room is filled with a lot of people. I can't see them all. David, wow. Subject, it's a very positive and happy space filled with connection. David, that sounds really nice. Subject, it feels as though everyone here is able to biolocate and be multiple places at once. This is just one of their spots. David, as you're enjoying their company, is anyone else coming over to say hello? Subject, I don't know who this is. David, what do they look like? Subject, she looks like a jungle-esque, exotic woman. David, you feel as though she might be some sort of ascended master as well? Subject, yeah, or something of the sort. She is a powerful goddess, a shamanic being. David, does she know you? Is that why she's coming over to say hello? Subject, yes. David, do you feel like this experience is like a welcome back, a welcome home where everyone is introducing themselves or saying good to see you again? Subject, this doesn't seem to be my party, but everyone is saying hello. David, is it as if they are saying, there you are, you're back? Subject, yes. It also seems like a high school reunion almost. It isn't like this party is just for me. It's a gathering of great beings, and Jesus took me along for the ride. David, that's really nice. As we're standing here amongst ascended masters and teachers, do any of them have any words or advice for this current life? Subject, they like that I am connecting with the earth. They are telling me to do more ceremony and ritual work. It's a really good way for me to connect and ground down, and it is a way for me to have my power. David, how do they think you're doing in this life? Pretty well overall? Subject, yes, they're happy. Everything in this life, it's all part of the plan. It is all steps on a ladder. It is what you have to follow to get to the next step. It's all good. It's all good. David, good. They all know you pretty well? Subject, yes. David, beyond this life, what do they see next for you? Subject, beyond this current incarnation. David, yes. Do they see you in future lives? Do they see you coming back for other lessons in new lives? Subject, like will I reincarnate again? David, yes, after this experience, will you continue to have more lessons and take more lives? Subject, yes. It felt as though this current life has been an easier life perhaps. It has almost been a bonus. It is as though I'm learning more things that can be used in the future. David, so you're honing skills now that you can use sometime in the future. Subject, yeah. I didn't have to incarnate in this life, but I wanted to. David, okay. Wonderful. Do we have any archangels with us? Subject, Michael, yes. He's on my right side. David, where am I standing? Subject, you're standing next to him. David, what is Michael saying? Subject, he's patting you on the back. He's not next to me. Padre Pio is next to me. We're all standing next to each other. David, why is he patting me on the back? Subject, he's just saying, hey Dave, we miss you. David, well, that's good. Does it appear that I have a pretty good relationship with all of these souls? Subject, yes. Oh, definitely. David, does Michael have any words for you in this life? Subject, he is sending me golden energy. He isn't saying much. David, he is sending powerful energy. Subject, yeah, it's powerful. David, does he tower over everyone? What does he look like? Subject, he is definitely tall. You're pretty tall too, though. David, how tall am I in relation to everyone else? Subject, you're taller than everyone, but Michael is taller than you. David, so I'm second tallest in a sense. Subject, yes. David, what is my outfit this time? Do I look like a tall guy in a robe? Subject, yeah, you're in a robe. David, why am I taller than Jesus or Padre Pio? Subject, I think that's how you want to be. David, I just want to appear taller. Am I twice as tall almost? Subject, no, but I would say you're about a foot taller. You just want to pump up the jam. David, well, that sounds fun. We're all talking and standing around. What do we do after this? Subject, we all sit in a circle, send energy and meditate. It's some sort of energetic work. We're making a grid almost. We are laying grids or sending grids to places. David, I presume a lot of that goes on up there, sending healing energy to places? Subject, yes. I guess that's what ascended masters and teachers do for a party. David, that's pretty neat. So, this is a huge open-air building? Subject, yes, it's as if there is form to it, but it is also an open space. David, well, it sounds like a pretty nice place to go. Do you see any other ascended masters? Is Archangel Raphael around? Subject, Raphael is over on the other side of the room. But yes, he is here. David, I'm going to wave my hand to him and see if he acknowledges me. Subject, he gave you a head nod. David, wow, great. Now do you see Gabriel or Uriel off in the distance? Subject, yes, Uriel is around more than Gabriel. I think Uriel travels with me. David, okay, Uriel is around you more. Does he help you in this life? Subject, yes. David, does he help you more than other archangels? Subject, yes, I think so. David, let's look at their souls. Do they have any colors that they give off? Subject, everyone or who? David, Uriel, Gabriel, Padre Pio, Mother Mary, any of them. Subject, it's interesting because all of a sudden, as you said, that I saw a very funny image of everyone. It's almost like those toy trolls with the colored hair and gems. It is as if everyone became a form, and a huge gem in everyone's stomach appeared. All of the colors are so beautiful. There is gold and purple. There are intense worlds of energy within their core form. David, it's hard to describe, obviously. Subject, yes. David, it's powerful and very profound. Subject, definitely. David, what color are Jesus' eyes? Subject, it's as if I'm seeing the universe in his eyes. They appear darker, but it's as if I'm seeing stars. David, wow. What about Michael? Subject, everyone feels as though their eyes reflect the universe. David, what do you see from my eyes? Subject, I see the same thing. David, it appears as though everybody has the same type eyes, and you can't narrow it down from there. Subject, yes. David, does Padre Pio go back with you in other lives? Subject, yes, we know each other, but he has also watched over me a lot. David, from the other side you mean? Subject, yes. David, he has helped you in this life and maybe other lives? Subject, from a distance, yes. David, and what about Mother Mary? Subject, oh yeah, she is always watching over me. David, do you have any deceased relatives that are around you as spirit guides? Subject, yeah, my grandfather, very softly. David, was this on your mother's or father's side? Subject, my mother's father. David, how old were you when he passed? Subject, well, it was like 5 years ago. David, did he teach you a lot of things? Subject, yeah, he was just a very kind and caring person. David, you feel that he helps you from the other side as a spirit guide? Subject, yes. He definitely has protected me. David, does he leave any scents for you to let you know that he is around? Cigars or cologne? Subject, yes, I smell his cologne when he's not around, or I hear certain songs. David, that is a way for them to bridge the gap from their world to ours, to let us know they are still around. Subject, my car that recently was totaled in a car accident, it was his car. He says that he's hanging out in my new car now too. David, wow, was he sad to see you hurt? Subject, it was orchestrated. Energy was around protecting me. David, the energy was around the car when the accident happened? Subject, yes. It was all orchestrated for me to care more about my body. Now I have to care about my body because I feel pain. David, it was a harsh wake-up call in a sense. Subject, yes. David, have you seen him in your dreams lately? Subject, not really, not that I can remember at least. David, well, as we're standing here with all these beings, what messages do they have? What are they telepathically telling you? Subject, I just feel really loved, held, and protected. Even if I'm feeling alone, I'm never really alone. I am always supported. It's all very kind and sweet. I just feel immersed in a loving community from above that I can't always see, but it's always there. David, wow, that is beautiful. You can feel their love and support, and if you call them in, you can feel them around you. Subject, yeah. It's all weaved within my being. David, you feel as though it is all a part of you, that it is all connected. Subject, yes. David, that has to be reassuring and nice to know. Subject, definitely. David, is there anything coming up, any forks ahead, any life decisions that you need to pay attention to? Subject, I'm sort of just seeing one foot in front of the other. David, day by day. Subject, yes. Sounds about right. David, do you still feel pain in your sciatic nerve or jaw? Do you feel that perhaps these are related to past traumas and they will ebb away over time? Subject, I don't feel that now, but my back is bothering me. David, where in the back? Subject, it's my upper back mostly, but it's constantly moving around. David, you feel it moving around along the spine? Subject, it's constantly moving. My upper and lower back. It's very uncomfortable. Every day is different. David, do they recommend therapy and yoga for that? Subject, yes, and massage. Hands on my back will help. David, that's a good idea. Reiki or something. Subject, yes. David, they feel everything is going well for you in this life, that you place one foot in front of the other moving forward through life, and that you always have support around you all of the time. Subject, yes. David, is there anything else you want to know? Any questions? Subject, I think I'm good. This was such a wonderful experience. David, well, I hope this session helped your sciatic nerve in your jaw. You can visualize along the spine as if there are two golden rods supporting your back all the way up your spinal column. These rods can bend with your spinal cord, and they are there supporting you. That strength and support is with you until the back heals. Picture it almost as a golden brace on your back. It is protecting the back and all along your spine. It is almost like a golden shield that conforms to your back, and if your back starts to hurt, remember your golden back support. Visualize this at night and see if that helps. If you use a heating pad, imagine that heating pad is emanating golden healing light as well as comforting heat. Subject, thank you, that sounds nice. David, I'll begin to count up from 1 to 5. Each time I count up, you'll feel yourself becoming more awake. Allow yourself to drift up as I count from 1 to 2, and you will remember all of the memories and visuals from these past lives you discovered and everyone that you have met. Visualize all of this in your mind as I count from 2 to 3. When you go to sleep tonight, some of these memories will come back to you. You can visualize yourself back on the dimension with the Ascended Masters, gaining their knowledge. As I count up from 3 to 4, you're feeling yourself more awake. Your eyes are opening, and your fingers are stretching. You are waking up more and more, starting to stretch around. As I count up from 4 to 5, you feel the energy still coursing through you. You'll sleep well tonight. You feel yourself becoming more and more awake. How do you feel? Subject, good with excitement. I'm like, woo, what an interesting experience. David, you feel pretty relaxed. Can you visualize all the images in your mind? Subject, yeah. That was really fun. David, does your body feel better? Make sure you visualize that golden back shield covering your back and supporting you. Subject, yes. My jaw and sciatic nerve feel great. I don't feel pain with them at all. I'm feeling really jazzed now. That was great.